everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Battery. I am Monte and my co-host Matt here on this nice Sunday evening. It is currently March 10th, and it has been a lot of or some exciting NFL news going on this past weekend. Matthew, how you doing so far this evening?
Doing good, man. We're getting closer to the draft. I'm hearing more about Drake May and Jaden Daniels. I'm excited about that, but there's a lot of other stuff going on as we get closer to free agency.
Yes, sir. Mac Jones just got traded to Jacksonville, which means the Patriots. Looks like the Patriots are definitely going to draft a QB this offseason, or this coming draft, or possibly Russell Wilson could be a guy
Maybe.
for the Patriots. I mean, we'll see, though. I mean, you never know. They have a new head coach now as well, so I will not be surprised about that. Also, this past weekend, Justin Madubuike just signed a 4-year, $98 million extension deal with the Baltimore Ravens. That was a A++ signing for the Ravens. A little biased with that one, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's a good signing for the sacks leader this past season for the Ravens. Also, Chris Jones just signed a crazy 5-year, $160 million deal, which is insane, actually, if you think about it. That's almost, like you said before we talked on the show, that was almost double what Justin Madubuike got. And that's also a big signing for the Chiefs. I'm pretty sure the Chiefs fans are pretty hyped about that. Also, Baker Mayfield just signed an extension, 3 years, $100 million contract, $50 million guaranteed to sign back with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was not expecting that. I also thought that Russell Wilson probably would have been maybe a contender for the Bucks, but Baker did take the Bucks to the playoffs this past season. He had a solid year. He had a solid year. Not gonna lie. I think that trade definitely helped him. Definitely think. What you think?
Well, I mean, as that's where you want to start with Baker, the 3-year, $100 million deal, the way I see it, he's in a similar place with Russ, where it's like, he was doing well, but their team just kind of gave up on him. And, they both just had bad stops. He had a bad stop with Baker had a bad stop with the Panthers.
Yeah.
Wasn't really going his way. He got a shot in Tampa Bay, and like you said, you just put a good person in a good platform, and it worked out. So, you know, like you said, he got into the playoffs. He can be there stable for 3 years, but is it going to be dangerous enough? They just committed to Mike Evans for a long time, right? So
Yep.
they just got that was a big one, because there was a lot of talk about him possibly leaving. So you just committed to Baker and Mike Evans.
Yep.
But how much of a force is that really going to be? I think that's going to be enough to win their division because they're at one of the weaker divisions in the
Yeah.
league.
Weak division.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be okay for them. But where do you think Russ is going to go? I think ultimately the best place for Russ to go is the Browns, but because he could go into that atmosphere and just help them win, right? But with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
Watson contract situation, it's not going to happen. Where do you think Russ could probably go?
I don't know. I'm still having a hard time with that because I don't know what these because there's a lot of QBs in the draft, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like is someone going to sign him after the draft or they're going to try to get him before the draft? Now I won't be surprised if Atlanta probably reaches out to him
Mm-hmm.
with those young guns and Bijan Robinson and Drake London. I would not be surprised if they take a veteran QB and throw him in there with the young guns on that offense. The Titans, but they also have Tannehill and Will Levis. So I don't know if they'll take Russ since they just drafted a QB last year. Um, I don't know. The Raiders,
Yeah,
Giants,
they currently just have Aiden O'Connell right now. Jimmy Garoppolo is suspended.
yeah,
But how comfortable do you really feel about him going forward? Because you really don't. I mean, they
yeah,
can go get someone later in the rounds, maybe like J.J. McCarthy or Bo Nix. Maybe they can be the team that takes a chance on Michael Penix. Maybe the Raiders could do that.
yeah.
Maybe later in the draft. Maybe because I mean, do you really want to go up against Patrick Mahomes twice a year with Aiden O'Connell? They won on what was it? Christmas Day, but they had 2 defensive touchdowns. You can't rely on that
Yeah,
every single
yeah,
time.
2 pick 6. I remember that. I remember that.
Every single time you come around against the Chiefs, you can't rely on that. So who's going to be your quarterback this year?
No, you're right. Now that you say that, I won't be surprised if the team did get Russ, and then before the draft, and then try to draft a QB to put behind him, just in case they're not committed to Russ long term.
Well,
So
with him, he's getting paid a lot of money to not play football for the Broncos for a few years, right? So maybe
yeah,
he takes a smaller deal to go into a contender. He said that he wants to win 2 Super Bowls in the next 5 years, but could you really see that happening if he goes to the Raiders?
yeah, true.
But
But
if
what
he goes to
about?
the Browns, he could compete maybe. But with the whole Deshaun Watson situation, I don't know how they're going to figure that one out. It's probably not doable at
No,
all.
I don't think the Browns are touching him until the contract's done. I think I think that's when
They're
the Browns are
rude,
like,
man.
yeah, exactly. Now there's rumors talking about Kirk Cousins might leave the Vikings, and apparently he just bought a home in Atlanta, and maybe Atlanta could probably go there, or he could probably go to the Commanders. This is a couple reasons why I guess that Kirk could be leaving or could potentially stay. That could probably possibly be a home as well too for us, depending on what the Vikings do. I mean, I guess we'll see what
I
happens.
mean, Kirk Cousins is going to go to the team that pays him the most money. He's not looking for a Super Bowl contending team. He's not going to. He'll get you to the wild card, but you know what? You remember like in the playoffs when Pat Mahomes ran down the field, what was it, like 16 seconds against the Bills or something ridiculous like that?
Yeah,
He'll never be able to do something like that. When it gets tough, he starts to unravel. But when you put a good defense behind him, he can do well enough to get you 9 wins.
yeah,
He got 10 wins in that one year, and then they just fell apart completely.
yeah, yeah.
And how old is he now too? He's got How
He's got to
long
be
do
at
you
least
sign him for?
30.
He's not going to be around for 5 more years, maybe at this level.
Right. Okay. Now, do you see him staying with the Vikings, or do you see him potentially
Probably
have to
not. I
stay?
mean, they're trending in the wrong direction, and he's not going to be the answer. So if he stays, they have to pay him a lot of money, and he's not going to be the answer for what they need. So they might as well move on. But where's he going to go? That's going to put him in a situation to win because he's going to want a lot of money too.
Yeah,
You got Russell Wilson, who may be like up in the air on how much money he'll take. He's getting paid a lot of money from Denver still, and then there's Kirk Cousins, who's going to want the biggest contract available. He'll go anywhere.
yeah, that's true. Dang, I just don't know. I just don't know what's gonna happen. This is gonna be weird because, and then on top of that, Justin Jefferson said he's gonna go wherever Kirk
Uh,
goes. But we'll
They'll
see about
never,
that.
they'll never let him leave. They'll franchise tag him as long as they have to. But Kirk Cousins got franchise tagged twice, man. He really just wants to get paid as much money as possible, and I think he values a long term deal as well. So this time around, I can see his deal maybe being 3 years wherever he goes.
Pretty solid. Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Didn't want to sign him to a 5 year deal and then see what happened to Russ. Be like, okay, 2 years in, it's just not working. So now we're gonna take a huge cap hit.
Yeah.
They can't do that.
Sean Payton came in, and all of a sudden now he's gone. Like, he's just gone. Including Jerry Judy. Jerry Judy got
Well, Steve Smith was right. Remember, he was talking all this. Steve Smith said they're gonna move on from you. What was it, like 5 months later? He's gone.
yeah, literally all that craziness they were talking. I guess he was talking towards him, and then now yeah he's gone. But hopefully, hopefully now he's gone. Maybe he might show some promise.
But I mean, how long is Sean Payton really going to be there? I guess he has to stick it out because they invested so much. It's a total mess in Denver. What do you do when you're $15 million in the cap space? You have no like real future assets in the next 2 years. You traded all those draft picks away. you don't have any money to spend to come bring anybody. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
You just have to draft well and hope for the best. But again, who has money right now and is just a quarterback away? Maybe who's just a quarterback away really in general. Maybe the Browns are, but again, they already put all their eggs in one basket, didn't they?
yeah,
So who else is in this situation like that could take on Russ?
that's true. That is true. The Browns are definitely a solid team to definitely go to. We'll see what happens with them. They might be okay next year with Watson, if, once he's healthy and he plays a whole season. So I guess that'll be
They
also.
might as well move on from him if he is just gonna play around. Because how long you can only maintain being a contender for so long, and how much trust can you put into him if it doesn't go well moving forward? So I don't think he has a long tenure with the Browns. He's going to get out of his contract early at some point. They're probably going to have to trade some draft picks or something, maybe take on a lot of dead money, whatever the case may be. That was a really bad idea to do what they did, and they're going to pay for it at some point. But they still have a team that can compete in the division. They got a really good defense, but
Yeah,
they're going to have to just draft somebody and hope for the best. You know,
yeah, yeah. I feel you.
maybe JJ McCarthy or something like
And
that.
Kareem Hunt, yeah, they're definitely going to draft a QB. They're definitely going to draft. If not this draft, definitely in the next coming draft or two, because you don't know what's going on. I mean, Flacco had to save the day, save the season. Took him to the playoffs.
The next Brock Purdy, who's it going to be? It's going to be on a team like this on the Browns.
Nah, yeah. And then the only thing that's down on the Browns right now is the running backs. Kareem Hunt's free agent. Jerome Ford was like their main
Nick,
guy, and Nick Chubb got hurt.
oh
Nick Chubb
man,
got hurt, so I don't know. We'll see. Like you said, I don't know. I guess we'll have to see though with them. They're iffy though, 'cause I don't know. They might be scary though. We'll see though. Who knows? But um, but yeah. So I guess this coming. How far are we from the draft? How far are we from the draft? Because well, let me ask you this, since I'm looking this up. Where do you think Russ will? Where do you think Russ will go, or what do you think the two teams or two or three teams you think he should go to? April 27th